I need your help. I just need 100 subscribers. I never thought I'd see her again. Not after the way everything crumbled. Yet there she was, only 2 months after the divorce, standing on my doorstep as if no time had passed at all. Rain clung to her hair, her sweater, the same one I'd once given her, clinging to her frame. Her eyes carried a hollow look I had never seen before, not even during the worst of our arguments. Michael, she whispered, her voice barely steady. I need to tell you the truth about everything. And just like that, the fragile stitches I had been sewing into the wound she left behind tore wide open again. Before everything collapsed, I believed Rachel and I were steady. Not flawless. No marriages, but dependable, like the rhythm of a heartbeat. We built our lives around small rituals. Saturday mornings strolling the farmer's market, Sunday evenings circling the lake hand in hand, coffee together every morning before we scattered off to work. Arguments came and went, but they always ended the same. With her slipping her hand into mine, her forehead leaning against my chest, as if that closeness could erase the sharp words we'd exchanged. I trusted her completely, the way a man trusts the ground beneath his feet, without thought, without hesitation. That blind faith was my first mistake. The unraveling started quietly. She grew more distracted, more distant. Her phone became an extension of her hand. She worked later hours, smiled less often. When I asked about it, she brushed me off with a tired, just stress. I'll be fine. But deep inside, I knew something was shifting, something she wasn't saying. Then came the night that shattered everything. She was asleep beside me, breathing softly, when her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Normally, I wouldn't have touched it, but that night something compelled me. Some part of me knew. The screen lit up with messages from someone named Ethan. Can't stop thinking about last night. When can I see you again? He doesn't deserve you. I love you. My blood froze as I scrolled further, my chest caving in at her replies. Soon. I miss you too. I'll figure it out. My wife, the woman I built my world on, was right there next to me, and yet she was already gone. It felt like I'd stepped off a cliff with nothing to catch me. The next morning, I couldn't hold it inside. Who's Ethan? I asked her at the breakfast table. My voice calm though everything inside me was burning. The spoon slipped from her fingers and clinked against her coffee mug. Her eyes darted everywhere, but toward mine. He's just a friend from work, she answered too quickly, too thinly. I cut her off, my voice breaking. Don't lie. I saw the messages. The color drained from her face. Her mouth opened, then closed, and finally, she whispered 2 words that shattered me completely. I'm sorry. The argument that followed blurred into fragments of shouting, tears, and silence. She admitted it, admitted she'd been with him for months. She said she hadn't planned it, that she was confused, lonely, that I hadn't been there enough. I wanted to scream back that I had been there, that I gave her everything I could, but it didn't matter anymore. The damage was beyond repair. 3 weeks later, I filed for divorce. The weeks after felt like walking through fog. Papers signed, lawyers exchanging letters, friends quietly picking sides. The house we'd built together turned into a mausoleum of memories. The couch where she once curled up in my lap. The kitchen where she danced barefoot while stirring pasta. The bed where she had once whispered promises of forever. I packed what I could into boxes and left the rest behind. My new apartment on the edge of town was small and silent, too silent. At night, the quiet pressed down on me until I could hardly breathe. But time, steady and relentless, pushed me forward. I began jogging in the mornings, joined a book club just to escape the walls of my apartment. Even found myself laughing again, though it felt foreign, like wearing clothes that didn't belong to me. Then 2 months later came the knock. When I opened the door, Rachel looked like a ghost of herself. She wasn't the confident woman who'd betrayed me. She looked wrecked. Can I come in? She asked softly. Every part of me screamed no. Slam the door. Protect yourself. But my heart, traitorous as ever, stepped aside. She sat on the edge of my couch, her hands restless in her lap. I stayed standing, arms crossed. What do you want, Rachel? My voice was sharper than I intended. Her lips trembled. I need to tell you the truth. About Ethan. About everything. I almost laughed at the word truth. Now after everything? But she pressed on. tears streaming down her face. Ethan wasn't just a coworker. He was her manager. He'd been pursuing her long before she gave in. At first, she said it felt flattering. He told her she was brilliant, beautiful, unappreciated. It felt like someone finally saw me again, she whispered, her voice cracking. And I was stupid enough to believe it. Then her voice fell even lower. Michael, he wasn't what I thought. He controlled me. He made promises he never kept. He pressured me to leave you. Said if I didn't, he'd tell everyone at work. I thought I loved him, but it wasn't love. It was manipulation. Her face crumpled as she buried it in her hands. When you found out, I thought maybe it was fate. That maybe he was my future. But after I left you, he changed. He pulled away. He stopped calling. And last week, her words broke. I found out he's married. Married with 2 kids. Her confession should have brought me relief, some sense of victory. But all I felt was emptiness. So what? I asked coldly. You want sympathy? You want me to say it's okay? That you were just a victim? Her tears fell harder. No. I just came to tell you I ruined the best thing in my life. I destroyed us. I destroyed you. Her words tore open the scars I'd been struggling to heal. I wanted to scream. To demand why my love wasn't enough. Why she threw us away for a man who lied to her face. Instead, I just stared at the woman I once would have bled for. My voice shook as I whispered. Do you know what it was like for me? To find out like that? To watch everything collapse while you ran to someone else. She nodded, choking on her sobs. I know. And I'll regret it every day of my life. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away sharply. Don't. You don't get to do that anymore. Her shoulders sagged, her eyes heavy with defeat. I just wanted you to know the truth. And maybe, her voice broke again, maybe to ask if there's any chance you could forgive me. The silence between us was suffocating. Could I forgive her? I thought about the nights I cried alone. The trembling hands that signed the divorce papers. The way she chose him over me without hesitation. And then I realized, I didn't hate her anymore. But I didn't love her either. Something had broken, and it would never be whole again. I hope you find peace, Rachel, I said quietly. But you and I were done. There's no going back. Her face crumpled as she nodded, stood slowly, and walked to the door. Just before leaving, she turned back. Her voice was fragile, almost gone. You were the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm sorry I was too blind to see it. And then she was gone. That night, I sat in my apartment, her words echoing against the silence. Once, I would have given anything to hear her admit she was sorry, but now it felt meaningless. Too late. The truth hadn't freed me. It only reminded me why I needed to let her go. As the rain streaked down my window, I finally understood. The life we had was gone. The man I was with her no longer existed. But the man who had survived, the betrayal, the divorce, the wreckage, he was still here. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough.